मधुपातारितायते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः मद्वेर्न सन्तोषधीः मधुनक्तम् उतोषसि मधुमत्पार्थिवगुं रजहम् मधुद्यौरस्तु न पिता मधुमान्नो वनस्पतिर्मधुमागुमस्तु सूर्यः मद्भिर्गावो भवन्तु न। ओम शांति शांति शांति। May the winds blow sweetly, may the rivers flow sweetly, may trees and plants be sweet to us, may days and nights be sweet to us, may the heaven that protects us be sweet to us, may the sun shine on us sweetly, may the cows yield sweet milk to us. Om, peace, peace, peace be to all. This morning our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 118. We are studying the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Daivasura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga, the divine and demonical attributes. There are 24 verses in this chapter. The first 3 verses are mentioned regarding the divine attributes, qualities, treasures, divine treasures. Verse 4 shows the signs of demoniac qualities and attributes. Verse 5 tells us that if you acquire divine qualities, you will get liberation. And if you acquire demoniac qualities, you will go to bondage. You will be bound. From verse 6 to 20, Krishna elaborately described demoniac nature. Verse 21 and 22, Krishna mentioned 3 gates of hell. We shall talk about it a lot, about hell. How one can overcome this kind of hellish life. We shall talk about it. Verse 23 and 24, Krishna mentioned the danger of giving up spiritual life. And if you want to lead a spiritual life, follow the injunctions of the scriptures. When I read this chapter, it reminds me one of our brahmacharis in the training center. We used to call him Shitalda. He was an elderly person, joined later. He was an Air Force pilot. So when our principal Swami was describing this, because Bhagavad Gita is in the curriculum, in the training center. So when our principal Swami was describing the signs of the demoniac nature, our Shitalda, my brother Shital, got up and said, Maharaj, I have experienced the Bhagavad Gita. So all other brahmacharis are curious. Well, what happened? He experienced the Gita. Then he says, Maharaj, just now the demoniac natures which you described, I experienced it. All are in me. So we all laughed. And then Principal Swami says, now sit down, sit down, sit down. It reminds me that the story of our Shitalda. No human being is perfect. No. Sri Ramakrishna told a beautiful parable. A strainer said to a needle, look, there is a hole in your back. Do you see it? The strainer has 1,000 holes, it doesn't see it. The people who have many wrong things inside, they always criticize others, see wrong in others, because that is within that person. The thing which we have inside, that we project outside. As Sri Ramakrishna says, you cannot make a little child understand about sex life, because it is not there, not in the mind. That mind is so pure. Always remember, when we see fault in others, but that means that fault is within us. Otherwise you cannot say it. Here is a little child seated in the room. The mother is cooking in the kitchen. A thief entered, took away all the jewelry of the mother. The thief did not shout, thief, thief, thief. Because the concept of thief is not in the mind of the little child who is in the bedroom. That is the way we think about good and evil, which is all in our minds. In the domain of Maya, a war is continuously going on, good and evil, divine attributes and demoniac attributes, Vidya Maya, Avidya Maya, truth, untruth, unselfishness, selfishness. Now the question arises, who will win in this battle? God gave us Shakti, power, Buddhi, intellect. We can make our life happy, we can make our life miserable. If you are drunk, you can drive car, you can ruin yourself, you can ruin others, kill others. Everything is in your steering, always remember. Man is the architect of his own fate. But most people blame others. I'm bad because that person made me bad. Bhagavad Gita gives us a good idea about yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. Ishvara pritartham. Whatever we offer to God, that is yajna, that is sacrifice. In this world, everything belongs to God. So when in the shrine, in the chapel, when we offer fruits, flowers, this is God's things we are offering to God. But we have love, devotion, sincerity, feelings, that is ours. That is called real puja. Otherwise, there is no glory to give God's thing to God. Now, what is yajna? Yajna karya karane purjavosito. The effect must go back to the cause. Everything came from God, we shall return everything to God. Then it will be sacrifice. But the moment we want to possess it, Ashura comes, demoniacal nature comes, selfishness comes. You know, very interesting, this time I was reading Advaita Amrita Borshini, Amul Pada Chattopadhyay, gave a beautiful example how this demoniac nature arises in human mind. But here is a very beautiful woman. He gave this illustration. Her beauty reminds the person, my goodness, how beautiful that woman is. The person who made this woman, he must be more beautiful. That woman is supposed to make our minds to God. But the Ashura says, no, I want to possess that woman. I want to enjoy that woman. That is called Osura. Here is a beautiful flower in the garden, a rose. Somebody is thinking that I shall offer this flower to the Lord. Another person says, no, 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 take that flower, I shall put in my pocket and I shall show. That is Osura. That is demoniac nature, selfish nature. I want to enjoy. I do not want to give. So, but knowingly, unknowingly, we are sacrificing. Husband, wife, children, everybody, we are sacrificing for each other. A great yajna, sacrifice is continuously going on in this world. That is the way Krishna described in the Bhagavad Gita. If you really want to be great, you must sacrifice more than others. Look, Jesus sacrificed his life for the good of humanity. Ramakrishna, Buddha, Swamiji. So they are great. They are completely unselfish. That is called sacrifice. That is called yajna. But who stops to sacrifice? We have 6 enemies. Kama, lust, anger, greed, delusion, ego, and jealousy. These are the 6 demons are continuously stopping our sacrifice. We shall try to understand this philosophy of sacrifice in the Bhagavad Gita. Now we shall start our verses. Chapter 16, verse 12. In the chapter 4, Krishna mentioned the signs of demoniac nature. What are the signs? First he says Dambha. Dambha means ostentation. I am the best. Darpa. Darpa means pride, arrogance. I am the richest man in this world. I am the most learned person. I am senator. I am big position. I am the most intelligent person. That is called Darpa. Self-aggrandizement, Darpa. Obhiman. Obhiman means I am the great, you all worship me. That is called Obhiman. And he demands respect from others. Obhiman. And if you do not respect, he is depressed. Oh, people are not respecting me. You see, these are the nature of the demoniacal person. Krodh, that person becomes very angry. If his desires are not fulfilled, he becomes angry. Parushya. Parushya means very rude. When he speaks, heartbreaking words, he gives verbal abuse. That is Parushya. Some people we see in this world. And Agyan, ignorance. These are the signs of a person who has demoniacal nature, demoniacal attributes that Krishna mentioned in the verse 4. Verse 12. Asha paso satoir baddha kama krodho parayanaha ihante kama bhogartham anna ena artho sanchayan. Bound by 100 ties of desires, given over to lust and wrath, they strive to secure by unjust means hoards of wealth for sensual enjoyment. Asha pasoi satoi baddha. Asha, hope. They create so many desires, one after another. And it is just like a net, and enters into that net and cannot come out. It is just like a cocoon, this silkworm. It makes cocoon and then goes inside and cannot come out and dies there. That is called asha pasoi satoi baddha. These words are, you can visualize it. I have so many duties, I have so many duties. That person is suffering, still so many desires, and he wants to fulfill all desires. I was telling, yesterday some ladies came, I was telling them, Bhuteshanandaji told one devotee, Maharaj, I am on mone ashanti. There's no peace in my mind. The Swami answered, I know the medicine, how to get rid of it. What is that, Maharaj? Give up desires. Oh, we are family people, we live in the world, how can we give up desires? Then stay with your lack of peace. অশান্তি নিয়েই থাকো। কামক্রোধ পরায়ণ, they are very lustful, full of anger. Ihante kama, they think the purpose of human life is to enjoy sensual enjoyment. And to fulfill it, onnayena artha sanchayan, cheating others, stealing others' money, enjoy. These are the people of demoniac nature. Krishna is describing. Some people steal, some people take bribe for enjoyment. There is a saying, it is better to be poor than making money through unfair means. It is better to have a lean body, diseaseless body, than have a big, husky body with full of disease. Asha Pasvi, beautiful verse. Idam adya maya labdham, idam prapsya manoratham, idam osti, idam opi, me bhavishyati punardhanam. This has been gained by me today. This desire I shall obtain. This is mine, and again this wealth also shall be mine in future. These are the short-sighted people, very short-sighted. Well, what do you mean by short-sighted? They do not see what is coming from my present action. Day and night I am working, making money. I was torturing myself. I am sick, forgetting my body. Then completely, sometimes a stroke, breakdown. Then he says, my goodness, what have I done? Very short-sighted people. Idam, this much I have gained today, this much I shall gain tomorrow, and then these daily thinking about future and possessing money, enjoyment. That is the whole plan of life, is to enjoy by any means. I knew a person, he used to work here in McDonnell Douglas. He used to work 16, 17 hours a day. Well, his family was in California. So he said, Maharaj, if I sit in my apartment by myself, what shall I do? So I go to the office and over time I make $75 an hour. So I make money. Money is the goal. Are you remaining hours reach something practice a spiritual life, have some friends, enjoy life in a different way. No, these people's goal is money. They think money can bring peace and happiness. We see these kinds of people in the society, many, many. Aso maya hato shatru honishyet chaparanopi ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. That enemy has been slain by me, and others also shall I slay. I am the Lord, I enjoy, I am successful, powerful, and happy. This verse reminds us the life of Ravana in the Ramayana. Same demon, king of the demons. He used to feel the same way. I am God. All gods must be under me. Then he was killed. He kidnapped Sita and Rama killed him. Then Kamsa, same thing in the Mahabharata. In the Bhagavatam, Krishna killed him. Hiranyakoshipu, Prahlad's father in the Padma Purana, Hiranyakoshipu, Nrsimha killed him. These are the demons. But Swami, what demons do? You see, try to see this way, materialism and spiritualism. Spirituality and material values. These two things, if these things sometimes up, then selfishness, greed comes, materialism. That is the goal of materialism. I was thinking the other day, is religion necessary? Spiritual life necessary? If you take away religion from the society, what remains? Think of that, no religion. No moral values, no ethical values, no spiritual values, only money and enjoyment. Could you imagine? You know, nowadays many people do not go to the churches. Very sad. Very sad. A famous thinker made a remark. One of the causes of the Second World War was religion was taken away from the society. Came greed. Hitler started to conquer whole Europe. One country after another. Austria, Poland, Hungary, France. He wanted to capture England. Then he went to Russia. Russian people are very nice. They know how to defeat. They move back. I read the movie of the Second World War. They move back. And then all Germans entered in the interior, went to the Leningrad. Thus, their war began. And came the winter. And they cut the supply line, whole German soldiers collapsed. You read the Second World War, you can see the movie. I saw it. Greed. That became the downfall of Hitler. This type of people, Krishna is talking in this Gita, Hitler. Ami Balavan, I am the strongest person, I can do anything in this. Whole Europe was almost destroyed by this person. Then divine power comes, America, other countries joined and brought downfall for Hitler. Adho obhijanavan osmi ko onno osti sadrisho maya yakshe dashyami modisha iti ajnana vimohita. I am rich and well born. Who else is equal to me? I will sacrifice, I will give, I will rejoice. Thus they are deluded by ignorance. That reminds me Saddam Hussein of Iraq. I saw And we saw in the newspaper also. Oof. How he tortured people. Even he simply beheaded his son-in-law because he went against him. Completely beheaded. Later on I saw Saddam Hussein, how America invaded. He went to a deep hole in a desert place. I think somebody would give him food once a night. And then American people found him, caught him, put him in jail, then hanged him. Gone. Saddam Hussein. Sometimes when I read these things, I see the history comes to my mind. Who is there? Who is the example? Some people say, I don't believe in God. Well, God is not necessary. The moment you have perhaps esophagus cancer or somewhere, terminal cancer, oh God. At that time, God comes in life. When the doctor says, no chance. There is a saying, nobody is an atheist in the plane when the pilot announces that this plane will crash. All pray. Wonderful, those verses. You know these verses, Swami, you may say, Swami, why are we studying these verses? Because we see these kinds of people in this society. We see the result of their life. I recently saw that one man in India, he has an insurance company, cheated millions and millions of rupees from the ordinary public, tantalizing them that, if you put this money in 8 years, you will be double. In this way, he made millions and gave bribe to the political leaders. Then he was caught. He is now in jail. His wife and son gave him up. How many years he will be in jail, nobody knows. Just see greed. Another person I read in Texas, he made $75 million cheating. Then he was caught, he was in jail and died there. I'm just telling, these people are in the society, don't think that they are not. I am rich, I am well-born, who else is equal to me? I will sacrifice, I will give. Sacrifice means, I shall perform sacrifice just to demonstrate that how rich I am. I am doing this puja. I saw in Bombay, there was a famous actress. In her home, there is a Durga Puja. So she will stand Durga behind, and then all cameramen all taking her picture. Ma Durga is behind. Even she did not bow down to the mother, Durga. Because I am a beautiful actress, you see. Durga is secondary. Check my picture. And she will bring all top people in her home and give party, and that is Durga Puja. No devotion. Just to show my pomp, my luxury, my wealth. They have a demoniacal nature. It's all are in this group. Anikachit vibhranta moho jala samabridaha prasakta kama bhogeshu patanti narake asuchau. Bewildered by many, a fancy covered by the meshes of delusion, addicted to the gratification of lust, they fall down into a foul hell. Aneko chitta vibhranta asti chitta. Some people, mind is completely restless. I saw some people comes here, very restless. They cannot sit one place steadily. Mohojala samabrita, mohojal. When mohojal comes to my mind, do you know what comes to my mind? Sri Ramakrishna gave the illustration of Baddha Jeev. Baddha Jeev means bound soul. Here is fisherman are talking that we shall going to catch fish in this pond or a lake. Listening their conversation, one fish immediately left that lake to the other place. They are nitya mukta, ever free soul. They will never be entangled by the meshes of Maya. Then these fishermen drop the net. The moment the one fish saw that net is coming, he gave a boom, he gave a jump and went to the other side of the lake, of the net. He was not caught. They are nitya jeev, perfect soul. They will never be caught by the net of Maya. The third group called mumukshu jeev. The moment net touches the nose of that fish, it gives a boom. It tears the net and goes to the other side. That is called mumukshu jeev. And the fourth kind, baddha jeev. They see the net is coming, they lie down on the floor of the lake, and the net pick them up and caught them and sell them in the market. That is called baddha jeev. এইটাই বলছে মোহ জাল ও সমাবৃতা. Jal means net. Net of Maya. Net of this delusion, desire, doubt. Samabrita, they are caught and they will be sacrificed. They will be killed. Prasakta kama bhogeshu. Prasakta. Addicted to the gratification of the lust. Na jatu kama kamanam upabhogena saimati havisha krishna vartmaiva bhuyo evavi vartate. This is a great message of the Mahabharata. Desires cannot be stopped by desires. By fulfilling the desires, one cannot end desires. You fulfill this desire, another desire will come. Fulfill that one, another desire will come. Unending. Unending this, it is insatiable, this human desire. How? Hobisha Krishna Vartvaiva Bhuyo Evavi Vardate. When there is a sacrificial fire, when we pour oblation, ghee, clarified butter, the fire goes up and up and up. You cannot extinguish fire with the butter, with ghee. Similarly, desires cannot be satiated, stopped by cultivating more desires. That is the famous message of the Mahabharata. Aneko chitta vibhranta. Then he says, patanti narake asuchau. आपको स्वामी Ranganathananda ji made a remark. Narak means hell. That means they lead the most impure type of hellish life. Hell is not a separate place. It is just the human system itself. You will find hell there in the human system. When everything is wretched and all kinds of violence, evil, etc. exist, that is what makes for Naraka or hell. But you see, yesterday I read Bhagavatam, book 5, chapter 26. Book 5, Bhagavatam, chapter 26. There Parikshit was asking about this hell. And Shukadeva explained there are 28 kinds of hell. I was enjoying just reading the description of the hell of the Bhagavatam. Then, do you know what came to my mind? I thought Christian people cannot compete with the Hindus. All Christians will be defeated, I can tell you. Christians have so 2-3 kinds. But we have 28 kinds of hell. And each hell describes that if you do this, you have this hell. If you do this kind of hell. They have all graphic descriptions of hell. One is very interesting. We find some people, those who attack women, rapists. Their hell is different. But what is their hell? Well, here is a woman, it is in the Bhagavatam. Here is a woman figure made with iron. It is a statue. And that iron, that woman's body is red hot iron. And the rapist will have to embrace that woman, otherwise the messenger of Yama, the god of death, will hit him. Now go, embrace, hold on. That means they will burn. It's just like brimstone hell of the Christians, but it is terrible the way they described it. I was thinking that, what is the necessity of describing graphically this hell in the scriptures? Just to stop the bad people to do those bad things. To create fear in their minds. If I do that, I will have to be there like that. That is the way the scripture mentioned all this description of the hell. In the Vedanta Shara, there are 7 kinds of hell. There are Chaturdash Bhuvan, 7 upper worlds and 7 lower worlds. 7 upper worlds is Bhur, Bhuva, Sa, Jana, Maha, Tapa, Saitya. These are the 7 higher realms. And 7 lower realms, Atal, Bital, Shutal, Talatal, Rasatal, Patal. 7 lower realms, that is hell. And 7 upper, that is heaven. So heaven and hell also we find funny. But sometimes I like, sometimes Saudi Arabia is very good about it. What is the matter? Well, he has stolen, he's a thief, theft. Oh, in our Quran or in our scripture says, what is the punishment of the hell? Bring him here and publicly. Put your hand here. Boom, chop up the hand, go. Chop up the hand, because that is the punishment of stealing. Publicly, if we see these things, people will be scared to steal anymore. Or, if something wrong happens, publicly, with the soul, behead. I think, perhaps, I do not know, perhaps their crime rate is less in Saudi Arabia. Swamiji made a remark in I think at Jnana Yoga. Do you know why are we good? Why are we good, do you know? Because of police. If there is no police in the society, there will be jungle civilization will come. People will do all sorts of nonsense. we are moral, ethical because of our fear of police. They will punish us. Swamiji made a beautiful remark. Atmasambhavita stabdha dhanamano modannita jajanti namo jagyaste dambhena avidipurvakam. Self-conceited, haughty, filled with the pride and intoxication of wealth, they perform sacrifices in name, out of ostentation, disregarding ordinance. Atmasambhavita stabdha dhanaman vadanti. They also sometimes, demoniacal people, hey, build a huge temple, I have money. Perform the sacrifice so that I will be saved. It is all show. Ognihotram juhyat sargo kamu. In the Vedas it says, if you want to go to heaven, perform Ognihotra sacrifice. If you want to be Indra, perform Ashwamedh, horse sacrifice. All these things we find in the scriptures. What is the purpose of those sacrifices? At least to divert their mind towards fulfill the legitimate desire, God. Ahankarang balang darpam kamam krudham cha sangshritaha mam atma paradeheshu pradishanta abhasuyakaha. Possessed of egoism, power, insolence, lust, and wrath, these malignant people hate me, the self within, in their own bodies and those of others. Ahankar. Ego. In this world, everybody has ego. But Sri Ramakrishna's advice is the best advice. How to break the ego. That is the reason he gave a mantra. Naham, naham, tu, naham, naham, tu. Not I, but thou, thou. This is the ego-breaking mantra Sri Ramakrishna gave to us. Ego is just like a balloon. Punch it, burst. It's just like a bubble. Hit it, burst. Ego is just like an onion. Remove the peel one after another skin, there will be nothing. Ego is just like in the cooking pot, in the pot, when you boil something, they jump. And they think, I am jumping. But remove the flame, they will collapse. That flame is God. The way Sri Ramakrishna described this ego, pakami, kachami, raw ego, ripe ego. Raw ego, I am proud, I am rich, I am this, I am that, I am learned, and ripe ego, I am a devotee of God. I am a child of God. I am a servant of God. I am Brahman. These are all ripe ego. So Sri Ramakrishna described this ego and divided this ego, ripe, unripe. So these people, demonical nature, their egos are unripe ego. Tanaham dishatah krudan sangsareshu naradhaman kshipami ajastram ashuman asureshu eva yonishu. These malicious and cruel evildoers, the world's most degraded among the human species, I hurt them perpetually into the wombs of demoniac only. Krishna says, and I only describe these people, demoniac nature, do you know what do I do to them? These malicious, cruel, evildoers, the world's most degraded among the human species, I hurl them perpetually into the wombs of demoniac only. They will born in a demoniac family. You see, it is not easy to get a human birth. After 86 loko, means 8,400,000 births, a person gets a human body, according to our Purana. Womb, 8,400,000 traveling of the different wombs, in animal, birds, beast, whatever. Then a person comes. It is an evolutionary process. A person comes as a human being. Jayasya Mriyasya. When we are reciting Vedanta in Chandogya Upanishad, there is a mantra. But what happened to these people? But they are born, they die, they are born and they die. Like mosquitoes, like bed bugs, like insects. They are born and die, they die and born, they die and born. Jayasya Mriyasya. They are describing the different goti, that those who did virtuous deeds, they go to the heaven. They are talking about those who are great sinners, they go even in the subhuman plane, you know. Sometimes it is hard for the Westerners to swallow that kind of thing, but how a human beings can also go to the animal realm. So we see some people have so much jealousy. They are more worse than a snake. Jealousy. The Swajani, and it is in the Upanishad. Am I born as a dog or a pig or a chandala? Those who are evildoers, they go to Pitri Loka. From there, they go to Sangyaman Puri, a place where Jama disciplines them. And they are tortured heavily. Then they are again sent back to the world. Those who do virtuous deeds, suppose philanthropic activities, they go to Chandraloka. They enjoy heavenly joy and pleasure, and when their result of our good deeds are ended, they again come back to this world. And those who are liberated, Jivan Mukta, they have no problem. Bas, no more coming and going. Then, Asurim Jonim Aponna Mudha Janmani Janmani Mam Aprapaiva Kaunteya Tato Yanti Padamam Gotim. Obtaining the demoniac wombs and deluded birth after birth, not attaining me, they thus fall, O son of Kunti, into the still lower condition. As I told you, the lower realm, Atal, Bital, Shutal, Talatal, Rasatal, Patal, 7 lower realms they go. Up to this is Asuri Sampad. Here Krishna stopped. I vividly described in these verses the people who have demoniac nature and what they do and what they get. Next, Trividam Narakaisedam Dvaram Nasanamatmanaha Kama Krodha Tatha Lobha Tasmad Etat Prem Tejet. I love you, so I shall tell you what is good for you. Listen carefully. The gateway to hell, destructive of the self, is of 3 kinds, namely lust, anger, and greed. Therefore, one should forsake these 3. 3 the gates of hell. Kam, lust, krodh, greed. So, no, krodh is anger, and lobh is greed. These are the 3 gates. How to get rid of them? Satsanga, holy company, and viveka, discrimination. I remember about hell, heaven. Swamiji was traveling, so somebody asked, "Where are you from?" Well, I am from India. Oh, then you are a heathen. Yes, here people tell me that what to do. Then you will go to hell. Swamiji says, that will be fine. But where are you going? Swamiji asked. Oh, I am a Christian. I must go to heaven. Oh, then I shall not go to heaven. I must definitely go to hell because I don't like to live with you. Swamiji was so funny. I must definitely go to hell because I don't like to live with you. Lust. When you read the history, all wars, disaster came from this lust. If you read the Greek history, the beauty of Helen brought war. If you read Indian history, Nurjahan, my goodness, she was the wife of Sher Afghan. Jahangir wanted to marry her. He sent the Mughal emperor, Akbar's son. He sent a person and killed her husband and brought his wife to Jahangir, Nurjahan, the most beautiful woman in the world. Then we find Padmavati. He was a Rajput queen, paragon of beauty. Alauddin Khilji invaded India. I wrote a long story of that Padmavati, which was published in Bengali. Beautiful story. Alauddin Khilji attacked Jaipur, Rajasthan. Then there was a fight between the Hindus and the Muslims. Then her husband was killed. Then what happened? All the Padmavati and all beautiful women, they jumped into the fire and killed themselves so that they will not be in the hands of those Khilji, Alauddin Khilji. Then Alauddin was broken-hearted. He could not get that woman because she killed herself. So he became mentally disturbed. Later on, his commander-in-chief poisoned him and killed him. His commander-in-chief, he was the king, Muslim king, his commander-in-chief poisoned him and killed him. Just see. If you commit sin, you will get the result. Lust. Sri Ramakrishna taught Swami Turiyananda. Turiyananda says, "Sir, how can I get rid of lust?" Swami says, "Why should you get rid of? Increase it more." What do you mean? Increase lust for God. I want God. Lust means kama. Increase your desire for attaining God. Swami Niranjanananda was very hot-tempered. One day he was coming from Calcutta to Dakshineshwar and some people are criticizing Sri Ramakrishna. He became mad. What? You are criticizing my guru? He just went on the edge of a boat and he was shaking the whole boat, but I shall sink this boat in this middle of the river. So all people are thinking about it. They're all afraid, but this young man, he can sink the boat. Then they apologized. Then Sri Ramakrishna came to Dakshineshwar and told the whole story to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said, "My goodness, Krodna Chandal," he admonished him. Says, "Never be angry. Those people, those who criticize me, they may be punished, but the boatman, the person who owns the boat, he will be a poor man, he will lose his boat. Why did you do such things?" Anyhow, Sri Ramakrishna stopped his anger. greed. It reminds me the Bhag Jatak. There is a Jataka stories of Buddha. Buddha in previous life, remember that his family, they are now poor. So he became a swan in that birth. He says that every day I shall give one feather, gold feather to my wife. So he was giving feather every wife and they became rich. One day the wife was thinking, it is very difficult to trust these birds. Perhaps today he told his children, when this crane comes, we shall take all his gold feathers so that we may not lose. The crane came, out of greed, took all of his feathers. All feathers become normal, no more gold. And the Bhag left. Crane left. Greed. All these stories come to my mind when we read these stories. Eto id vimukta kaunteya tamoddaroi tribhir nara acharati atmana shreyaha tato yati param gotim. One who has got freed from these three gates of darkness, O son of Kunti, practices what is good for oneself and thus goes to the goal supreme. Acharati, yan sadhan tan siddhi. Whatever you will practice, that you will get. If you practice a spiritual life, you will get definitely the result of a spiritual life. If you practice material life, you will get that result, but that is very momentary. Ya shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kamukarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gotim. One who, setting aside the ordinance of the Shastras, acts under the impulse of desire, attains not to perfection, nor happiness, nor the goal supreme. Shastra Vidim. In our city, we have some rules and law and order. Our lawmakers made the law. Theft, felony charge, these. These things are the laws. We must abide by the laws. Otherwise, our city, our government will punish us. He is telling, similar, the scripture also puts some laws. If you read Manu Samhita, Yajnavalkya Samhita, these are the laws you must follow. If you do not follow, you will be punished. You will get the bad result. So these Hindu lawgivers set the duties of each person so that the society must move in harmoniously. Family life, if everybody follows their duties, it goes very harmoniously. That he is talking about. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavostitau gatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kortum iharoshi. So let the shastras, scriptures, be your authority in ascertaining what ought to be done and what ought not to be done. Having known what is said in the ordinance of the Shastras, you should act in the world. Shastra, scripture. You must follow the scripture, injunction of the scripture. A Gita is a scripture, is guiding us. Upanishad is scripture, guiding us. So if you follow these Vedanta scriptures, or the Bible, or the Quran, if you follow the scriptures or the Torah, all religions have some scriptures. They are the guidelines of the people. If they follow, then there will be happiness, peace and joy in this life. Thank you. Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu, sa viryam karabhabhai, tejasvina vaditamastu ma vidvishabhai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May Brahman protect us. May he guide us. May he give us strength and right understanding. May love and harmony be with us all. Om, peace, peace, peace be unfold.